Hello. Good morning, everyone. RT Bear here, coming to you live from Hack Studios for a morning hullabaloo. We're going to, as the kids say, raise the roof. Yeah, I'm a little fired up. I'm a little fired up this morning. Yeah, I know most of you guys don't like Disney news and you're not Disney people, but that's okay. Um, I am. Okay. Well, I was. I liked the parks. I liked the animation. I liked Walt Disney. I liked his brother Roy Disney. I thought it was a good blend of creative and business, which you have to have a good combination of both, which is what I try to do every frickin' day. I try to draw and write and create, and I try to market and advertise and talk to you good people right here. Good people like Lake Kick One. Good morning. Good morning. What is up, brother? Or artsy fartsy, artsies. Good people like you guys. So I'm sure there's going to be a couple more good people that chime in. Once again, as always, the way I'm branding this morning hullabaloo is it's interactive. So feel free to do whatever in the chat. I'm not a police officer. I'm not going to stop you. I mean, come on, man. Do what you feel, man. Do what you feel. I am a little fired up. Auntie Entity, hello, good morning. Yeah, I made breakfast taquitos. I never had those until we moved. Well, I had them when I would do shows in Texas, and I'd bring my daughter Amanda out with me. We'd do shows together, like Austin, Houston, uh, Dallas, Brazos Valley, all over the place, and breakfast tacos, man. And they smother them with butter and they put hash browns in there and all kinds of spices. It's good stuff, good stuff. So since we moved out here recently, I've been trying to duplicate the formula. So I made breakfast tacos for Pamela and myself, and I must say they came out pretty good. Pretty good. Even though we didn't have our usual salsa, it kind of went bad. There's only two of us, and we don't quite go through stuff as quickly as we used to when there were three of us. So it went bad. So we were like, oh, this is a drag. But we had some fresh salsa, chopped up onion, cilantro, tomato, all that stuff. And I put that in there. And you know what? Almost better. Almost better. Yeah, yeah. And so fired up, got a good breakfast in me, doing good. But yeah, you guys, like, I don't know well, I do know what's going on with Disney. I think we have full confirmation that one, they don't really care about their fan base or the consumer. I mean, they own Marvel Comics, they own Star Wars, they own Pixar, they own 20th Century Fox, they own so much, and all they can think of doing is trying to bring agenda into things, wokeisms, all this stuff. And I'm not completely sure why. The only thing I can come to terms with is some kind of ideology, it's some kind of belief system. And so they're trying to move the paradigm from a more traditional kind of middle of the road, middle America kind of I don't know, sensibilities to something that they think is more inclusive or more fair or whatever. And I never heard anybody ever complain that Disney really wasn't fair or whatever. I mean, there's always fringe group people that say like, oh, like Song of the South is racist. Well, I don't know. Point some stuff out that's actually racist. Point some stuff out. Like they say these days, furnish receipts. I want to see some receipts. The character, Uncle Remus is not a slave. He's a free man. He's working the plantation as a free man. I don't quite understand it. He's he's talking about the Brer characters, and passing those on to young children because he feels like it could help them cope. White, black, whatever, doesn't matter. The stories are the stories. And there are people that just want to be offended by everything. There's people that want to tear down what came before, so that they can rebuild it, and just all kinds of craziness. They're doing some shenanigans with Walt Disney World, and I think Disney is morally bankrupt as a company. I think it's completely in the DNA. I know some people that still work there. They're good people, but they're not allowed to really. They don't have much power to say anything or do anything. So, so I think the corporation's doomed. I think that it's just like America as a country and the world as a place. These globalists, these weirdos that don't like the way things are. I don't even think it's that. I think they just want power, so they want to change it so that they can restructure everything to where it gives them the power. So it's basically like, what do they call it? The big reset, right? They want to reset everything so that they can come out, completely on top. And, we're going to tear down the past to do that. So I know I'm kind of rambling and I'm not really making a specific point, but I just wanted to give you kind of like preface it with kind of what Disney's doing as a corporation, and kind of like it is kind of a reflection of more of a globalist worldview, but not even like a worldview where we honor everybody's heritage and history. That's what they say, but that's not what they're really doing. They're tearing it down so that they can bring in a more homogenized way of life. If you look at, a lot of different countries, they're all becoming more homogenized, and so that's just what they're doing, so that they can manage on high, not just a little region, a small town or a state or a city or a state or a country. It's the world. So it's a way to manage the world by, making everything homogenized, making, everything less about the country and more about whatever it is that they want to put in its place. And so Auntie says, I'm doing good so far. I'm doing good. All right. You like chorizos and eggs? I know I had it, but I don't remember if it was good or bad. I imagine it would be good. We got Edwin the Ace. Volume 3 is live, so check that out. Hail peeps, indeed. So what Disney did is they have these D23, which from a business standpoint, it's freaking genius, right? So what they do is they charge people. They have a convention, right? A big convention. It's usually at the Anaheim Convention Center, which is right across the street from Disneyland in California. And so they have this big convention. They take over the whole hall, and they charge people. They charge people to go. They charge people to be vendors, just kind of like a comic book convention, but it's just Disney. It's everything just Disney, right? So they charge a premium to go. People get hotels. They spend, like $1,000 or more for a weekend, for 2 days or 3 days to hang out, and basically let Disney advertise stuff that they have coming for the next year or so. So they charge you to advertise. They charge Disney people, so then Disney people can go there and get the lowdown. But the thing is, the stuff ends up going on the internet anyway, so everybody ends up seeing what's going on. I guess you don't get to experience it, live, but that's where they made the big Robert Downey Jr. announcement that he's going to play Dr. Doom. So they have big announcements. So one of the announcements was that they were going to bring this Cars Land adventure to Frontierland in Disney World. not Disneyland, but Disney World. And so they were going to put it in Frontierland. So everybody's scratching their heads like, oh, well, where at in Frontierland? So one of the things, I don't know if you guys know the park, you know, the map and stuff. I'm going to show some images, but they had said that they were going to build stuff behind Frontierland, or I think they were calling it Beyond Big Thunder. So behind Big Thunder. So they have a ton of room that hasn't been built on yet. So it's still just natural ground and things like that. So they could build, I guess they were going to do a Villains Land and this Cars World or whatever the hell it's going to be. And so everybody kind of assumed it was going to be over there, right? Beyond Big Thunder or whatever. But I think they said Frontierland, but I don't think people really knew what they were talking about. Or maybe they didn't say Frontierland. I'm not really clear. But anyway, so when they announced these things, everybody lost their shit, right? So let me show you. This is Cars Land. So this is the stuff that they showed at this D23. So this is like concept stuff, and you know what? I mean, it looks fun. They have a Cars Land in what is it called? California Adventure. And I've been on that thing with my family, and it's a great ride. It's top tier. Like, it's one of my favorite, you know, Disney attractions. So this looks like it's kind of based on the same thing. So you got, you know, pile up in a car and you go through, I guess, what's supposed to be the wilderness, right? So this is supposed to fit in with Frontierland, you know, kind of thing. So it looks like kind of an off-road type of adventure. There were some arrows. Is this the arrow here? Scroll to top. I don't want to scroll to top. I want to go to the next. Well, let me see. We'll go with this one here. I'll do it this way. And so, you know, it looks fun. It looks awesome, you know, if you're into these type of attractions, which I think it's really, for a creative person, I mean, to take, you know, a cartoon or you know, an IP and then to brand it to such extent like this, I think it's absolutely fantastic. You know, what they do and how they do it. To be honest, I mean, it's one of those things that you would love them to build, you know, like a Chrono Mechanics attraction or something like that. And so then here's some more. So I guess it's a race. So it looks like it's like a cross country kind of race. It's got some of the Cars characters, Lightning McQueen and Tow Mater, you know, out there. And so, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Looks like it could be fun. You know, it looks like it could be, you know, it looks like it's fun for the whole family. You can get kids in there and everything. So, you know, it is what it is. So then, you know, that's what they showed everybody at the D23. So everybody was like, they got really excited about it. It's like, oh, cool. You know, Cars Adventure, you know, this will be fun. But they didn't tell people at the convention where it was going to be exactly. So what they did later, Disney did later, is they made an announcement and then told everybody where it was going to be and where they're going to put it. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. Is this it? Let's go with this one first. All right. So where they're going to put it is they're going to put it. Is it here? Yes. They're going to put it here. Hopefully you guys can see this. They're going to put it in the rivers of America. So here's where the American connection comes into it. So look at how gorgeous this is. One of the things that makes Disney stand out from all the other amusement parks is this level of immersion. Look at this. Look at this level of commitment. You know, it's not the real deal, but, you know, you can go back in time. You can enjoy a riverboat on an actual river, you know, and you can take it around like basically not a forgotten time, but a time of the past, you know, so you could experience this stuff. It's very peaceful. It's very calming. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to look at. Other amusement parks do not have stuff like this. This is uniquely Disney. So here's the other thing. Um, oh well, let me stay focused on this. Okay, so this is the riverboat. This is the rivers of America. So I got some other stuff chambered, so you can see it's absolutely gorgeous. You guys are still talking about breakfast food. Salsa with eggs is primo. Yeah, we do that sometimes, but this is like these are tortillas, and you make like these little tacos. Let's see what Zeno, the Stoic, says. Disney is a cult, and Disney adults make me sad. I know some, and they are sad children and in adult bodies. Yeah, yeah. I like it from a creative standpoint. I'm not like I'm gonna put on Mickey ears and I'm gonna buy, you know, all these like Disney toys. So I'm not like that. I really like it from really a strictly creative standpoint. Even when I was a kid, I liked, you know, the idea of building this stuff and using your imagination and then making like real environments, you know, that you could go into, like you can experience like pirates ransacking a town, you know, or like a mansion that's haunted and things like that. These are pretty cool experiences, and these are millions and millions of dollars put into this. These used to be the Imagineers, not Imagineers actually. These were the guys that were making the cartoons. These were the guys at the Disney studios that were building this stuff. You know, later they became very specialized, and now they're called like, you know, Imagineers. But then they were artists that were pulled from the studio and asked to develop stuff, and it was absolutely fantastic, top tier stuff. You know, well designed, well thought out, emphasis on storytelling. Everything was storytelling. Let me see what John says. I do my best to avoid all things Disney. These companies won't change until their pennies are gone. That's what I'm trying to do right now. I don't have any grand illusions that I'm going to change anything, but I'm gonna put my voice out there, and I'm gonna say that the reason Disney's doing this stuff, I'm just gonna cut to the chase. Um, I think they want to tear down any of the Americana aspects to the Disney parks. So one of the things they have at one of the, I don't know, the Asian parks is they don't call it Main Street because it's Main Street USA. They call it Disney Avenue or Mickey Avenue or something like that, right? So they got rid of, even though it looks similar, they got rid of the Main Street USA aspect, right? So one of the things about Main Street is that it was Walt's childhood, Walt Disney's childhood of Marceline. So it was modeled after. It's a very idealized version of where Walt grew up, the town, you know, that you know, he got to visit. He would go there with his family, you know. So there was that, and so I've heard a lot of YouTubers talk about that they're pretty much set, and they've heard rumors that they're going to take the Main Street USA out of the equation. So they're probably going to call it something lame like Mickey Avenue or some dumb stuff like that. And so one of the other things is, let me show you. Is it this one? I think so. Yeah. Is they have a place, it's called Liberty Square. And so Liberty Square is is old time like Boston, you know, area. So it's very like of the past, you know, pristine, of course, very heightened, very Disney. but it's a beautiful little land that you can go into. It's immersive, so you feel like, for the most part, it's Disney eyes, but like you're there, and then there's this place, this building, I think is where it's called the Hall of Presidents. And so they have every president represented from, our past to our present. And they all give a speech and stuff like that about America and freedom and, you know, just all that good, feel good, Americana stuff. And, it's one of the things that Walt wanted. He never saw this park, but he did want, a Hall of Presidents, and there was development early on, even before, Walt Disney World was built. And so, they carried through his dream. They built this thing, and it's actually pretty cool. It's like one of those wish fulfillment things. Like, it's interesting to see every president, and they're dressed in their clothes of the time, and they're all there standing next to each other, side by side. It's pretty cool. And then the standing president gets to actually say something. So they have like a speech about whatever it is, and then they talk. So they had like George W. Bush, they had Barack Obama, they had Donald Trump in there, all of the presidents all the way back, but those are the more modern, contemporary. I guess they have Joe Biden in there. I haven't been in there since I guess Trump was president. So I got to see that and hear Donald Trump talk. And so that's what they do. I think it'd be weird if Harris won and then they had her little robot in there. But anyway, I heard that this is on the chopping block too, that they're going to take out this Liberty Square. Liberty Square also has, the Haunted Mansion in it. And it does, like right over the side of the Haunted Mansion is that Rivers of America. So this looks fairly problematic by contemporary terms. And so, where is it? Do they have any more? I thought they had some more in here. But yeah, it's just a fun place to go. You can kind of get a pseudo experience of what it would have been like to be there, and it's right on this river. So from what I hear, they want to fill in. Well, what they're going to do is they're going to fill in this river. They're going to concrete it up, and they're going to build that Cars Land in there. And then thematically, this is not going to fit anymore because, you got that Cars thing right next to this and right next to the Haunted Mansion. So thematically, I think they're just going to destroy that area completely. And for, IP, so that they can throw IP in there. They can get rid of colonial America. They can say goodbye to the Rivers of America. They could say goodbye eventually to Main Street USA. So I do think that this is Disney's move forward. I think this is what they're going to do. So all of Americana is going to be stripped away. I hear some of these Disney, I guess they call them apologists or whatever, and they're like, nobody goes on a Tom Sawyer's Island because that's like there's an island in the center and the boat goes around. And of course, Tom Sawyer and Mark Twain are problematic by today's standards as well. So they're just like with one fatal swoop, they're going to get rid of all these American ideas, these problematic things, and get rid of them. I mean, they had this thing called Splash Mountain, which was based on the Brer characters, not on Song of the South, but just the Brer characters, the mythologies, that do exist. But there's no slavery, there's no Uncle Remus, there's no plantation, there's none of that stuff. There's just the cartoon characters. And so some assholes that don't like anybody having a good time decided that it was problematic. So they changed it over to Tiana. I guess she's the princess from the Princess and the Frog cartoon, which is beautifully animated. It's not that interesting. There's some moments in that movie. I tried to watch it again recently, and it's there. I wish it would have been better because I think it was the last hand-drawn cartoon. So I wish it would have done better just so we could have more hand-drawn, animated cartoons. But it is what it is. And so they felt it was better to, I don't know, reclaim this racist attraction and put, I guess representation into the ride, with Tiana and this bayou and all this other stuff. And none of this actually fits, that theme either. But, they got rid of, I mean, for right or wrong, Song of the South, those Brer characters, that's Americana. That's Americana too. And so basically the Disney company is erasing all of these things. They're getting rid of all the Americana stuff, anything that represents anything from the past. So they're just going to burn it all down, and they're just going to put IP in there. I mean, the land's called Frontierland. So you're going to put contemporary cars in the middle of Frontierland. This is the Wild West. This is supposed to represent the Wild West, and you're going to just plop down this car race right out in the middle of this, what used to be this serene river, this serene lake with American steamboats going down it, paddle boats, and all this great stuff. And you know what the thing is, you can't really, the problem with the bean counters over at Disney too is that they can't really justify it. They're going, this takes up a lot of space, a lot of room, it's gorgeous, but we're not making any money. So then they can justify it financially. Their what do they call that? Those groups that they hire that come in and assess to see if things are problematic or not. So those people went in there and scoured over the whole park and gave their notes and said, this is problematic, that's problematic. So then Disney, creates reasons why they should get rid of it. So they go, well, no one goes on there. It's just there. It's not making us any money. Let's tear it down. Well, you could build behind it. You don't have to tear this down. There's plenty of room behind it. They bought acres and acres and acres of land. They could actually expand the footprint of the park by building that stuff on the other side of the train track, and basically develop that land. But they're not going to do it because I don't think it's just about expanding the footprint. I think it's about getting rid of America. Let me see. We got Pedro Eng, the great Pedro Eng. Speaking of animation, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Art. What's up, brother? Fidel Castro Avenue coming to Disney. Yep. Equality Square, Revolution Boulevard. Yep. Tom Sawyer is not problematic. I love Jim. And how do you can't, some things you can't put a dollar on. You know what I mean? Like it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. Like I said, one of the things that really have these Disney parks stand out is they're not like Six Flags, where it's just attraction. There's no theming, there's no thought, there's no real beautiful areas. It's just ride after ride. And I guess if that's what people want the Disney parks to be, that's what they're going to get. But once they tear the stuff down, it's gone. You can't do anything about it. I mean, they're not going to tear that Cars land out to build the lake back, or the rivers of America. They're not going to do that. Let's see what else Pedro has to say. The last classically animated cartoon was Home on the Range. The Princess and the Frog was a John Lasseter joint. He basically rebuilt the studio for it. Yeah, there's a lot of digital stuff in that for sure. But supposedly the characters are all animated. Alekik says it's the idiots from the Stories Matter group that are destroying everything art. They are looking for things that offend them so they can keep their jobs. Yeah, like the thing is, the Disney executives are not stupid. So they're hiring these people in to basically give them an excuse to do what they want to do. So Bob Iger and those racist, God hating, America hating, globalist idiots are looking for reasons. So they create this story group or whoever these people are, and they give them a certain amount of power, and then they come in and they inject their so-called gay agenda. They do their thing. They find problems, with the parks, with their past, with all this stuff. And then they come to the Disney execs and they have their notes, right? Well, Disney wanted to do this stuff anyways. Not Disney, but like Bob Iger, the people that are calling the shots at Disney. They wanted to do these things anyway. I'm convinced of it. You don't give some person off the street a position, give them power, and then have them dictate to you what you can and cannot do. You don't do that. These people are not running amok. These people are doing exactly what Bob Iger wants them to do. He wants to tear this shit down. He wants to create Igerville. He does not want Walt Disney. He wants to eradicate that guy. He wants to shit on everything that man, those brothers ever created. I'm completely convinced of it. For the new king to rise, the old must die, right? So they say, just like the Dems, just like, the extreme progressives, they say one thing, like, oh, we believe in free speech, but we want you to get rid of these problematic words, right? Well, then you don't believe in free speech. You're a liar. And that's all they do. Like what the Disney company does is what else they did, which is hanky panky, is they're like, oh, we're going to bring Walt Disney into Disneyland as a robot. They're going to make Walt Disney a robot. And they're going to have him tell his story or whatever. I don't know what the hell this is. That is tacky. That is freaking tacky. But what they do is, this is like the Disney, I guess, loving community that accept everything. It's like those people think it's absolutely fantastic. And I guess if you do, that's fine. I just keep thinking, well, what happens when Walt malfunctions? That's going to be horrific. Like, this is a real person that existed. This isn't some pirate or ghost or, It's a Small World child or whatever it is. It's a real person. And I know that they have Abraham Lincoln and stuff like that, but there was no video ever shot of this guy. Nobody ever heard his voice. There's some photographs of him. But other than that, nobody really experienced or watched or heard the guy talk or anything like that. So it still is kind of an experience that you were never going to get, like a wish fulfillment. Like, you were never going to get to see Abraham Lincoln speak. But with this attraction, you could. Well, there's plenty of videotape. There's plenty of recordings of Walt Disney talking, right? It's completely unnecessary, but it makes the Disney Corporation seem like they love Walt Disney, right? Oh, we love our founder, right? While they're doing this, they're placating people. They're destroying the legacy over here. You know what I mean? They put a statue of Walt on a bench and have him pointing at in the Epcot Center that he's never even stepped foot in. Epcot Center is not what he visioned. He had nothing to do with that park. And he's sitting right there. And, it's like, ooh, look, Walt Disney, a bronze statue of him. Isn't this great? No, it's weird. You know what I mean? Like, he had nothing to do with that. It doesn't make any sense. So, but the people that are just in love with Disney in general, they suck it up. But I do think what it is it's just a detractor, right? It's like, look at this, we love this guy, while they're tearing down this other stuff, while they're saying, you know what, Song of the South was racist. Well, then you're saying that Walt Disney was racist. Then you're saying people that worked on that movie were racist. I don't think they were. I think they sincerely thought that they were making good entertainment. I sincerely think that Walt fell in love with those Brer stories. And I think he wanted them to be illustrated for generations to come, just like he did with all the fairy tales that he had done prior. But cynical fucks go in there and decide that it's problematic. Well, show me. Show me where it's problematic. Even Whoopi Goldberg says that they should bring Song of the South back. Let people judge for themselves. Like, don't start changing history. Don't edit things. Don't do that. You know, let people be who they are. Let people figure it out. If you want to be offended by something, then fine, be offended by it. You know, but if you're enjoying it or you're entertained by it, that's great too. You know, am I potatoing here? My little thing is glitching here. Oh man, we got some new faces. Let's see. Oh, it's another Hullaballoo. Yes, yes, Marcus. Use that golden wrench of yours. Let's see what Pedro says. Bob Iger World. Bob Iger Land. Wear double underwear and keep your back to the walls. Because you're going to get reamed, baby. That and they're pricing the parks out. Like, they're just doing so much horrible stuff. Walt starts eating babies. You give it time. Give it time. Zena says the real person just becomes marketing. Exactly. Exactly. Well said. Well said. Zippity doo dah. Uncle Remus did nothing wrong. Yeah. He's just trying to help the kid. The kid was having some problems. You know, I think the basis of the story was the dad had to go away for a job, and the mom and the dad were having some problems. So the mom went to stay with her family at this plantation. And so I guess some, like, the maybe, you know, there were some slaves that worked it. I don't know. They don't really get into the backstory. But then they were freed. And so then everybody that was working the plantation at the time of the story, they were all free. So Uncle Remus saw this kid struggling, having a hard time, and told him and his friends some stories to help him cope. That's it. And the mom had some problems with this guy. So there was some kind of issues between, you know, the mom and Uncle Remus, because she didn't like this guy talking to her kid. It wasn't clear if it was because he was black or just that she didn't want this guy filling her son full of these ideas, you know, which is a parenting thing. But anyways, everything gets worked out. Dad comes back, and, you know, they all live happily ever after. You know, that's basically the story. Iger is going through the parks, destroying what he built, what Walt built, I assume, but also not maintaining the parks. All of the reskin rides are breaking down. Yeah, yeah, it's falling apart. And some YouTuber, I guess somewhat apologist, goes in and he goes, you know, they have to tear down the rivers of America because I visited it and it is dilapidated and whatever, and it needs to just go away. And I'm like, they should have maintained it. Like, all this stuff is old. Everything in there is old. What is that place, 50 years old or something like that now? Everything needs to be maintained. Everything will fall apart in time. So, you know, the one in Disneyland is older than the one in Disney World, and that's still functioning. Let me see. I forgot where I'd heard it and the examples, but they are cases where they were removing Walt from the naming of things. I can see that, but they got to be careful, right? So on one hand, like I said, they're like, oh, Walt is great, Walt is this, and then on the other hand, they're tearing things down. Oh my, what a wonderful day. Because also by getting rid of Song of the South, I think one of the first, if not the first, Academy Award went to the actor that played Uncle Remus. And also I do believe that Zippity Doodah was or won Best Song. So there's Academy, winning stuff. There's history there. Just tearing it all down. Plenty of Sunshine. Yep. It's a great song, actually. Um, what is that? Lodine 74 might have been a That's Parks Place or WDW Pro video, but they were giving examples of the depersonifying of things in the park. More company brand, less comparatively wholesome man who started it. Yeah, they're definitely just throwing IP everywhere. And the thing is, like the parks really weren't based on IP. They were based on original attractions. So the only place that you could get like the Pirates of the Caribbean was at the park. There were no movies. The only place you could get, I don't know, what was it? The Bear Country Jamboree was, at the park. And, all those things were original IPs to the park. And then they just kind of franchised them all out. So now, the parks aren't all that special. And since they blurred that line, they're just creating this brand synergy throughout everything. So they're just plug in IP here, IP there. And I think Walt's vision was better because the things that they built were timeless, because IP runs its course. IP could be popular for 10 years, 20 years, or whatever it is. It's not necessarily going to be popular forever. So like these Cars attractions and stuff like that, I didn't think the Cars movies were all that good to begin with. And to be honest, I only saw the first one. I thought it was okay, but I didn't think it was great. But then they put all this IP in the parks. So what happens when people become bored with Cars, or it goes away? You tore the Rivers of America out, which was timeless, timeless beauty, and then you put these cars in there, and also the thing is, I thought you guys were progressive. Cars are gasoline powered. I thought you were all about electric and being progressive and all this other bullshit. Like, this is just fucking lies. Like, you don't give a shit about anything. I mean, is that responsible to put gasoline powered vehicles into the park? Is that not problematic? Where's your story group or your people that find problems? You don't have a problem with that? My gosh, you guys are the biggest hypocrites. And you're going to invest millions and millions of dollars into that? That's crazy. You know what? Let's change our focus just a wee bit and get into some oodles of doodles and other stuff too. So here is a link that Marcus Killigrew was nicely or nice enough to put into the chat. So I do appreciate that, Marcus. And let's do this. Let's do this. The reason for the season. And that is oodles of doodles and other stuff too. So you guys, we had a stellar day yesterday. We got probably 5 or 6 backers. I think we got one this morning. So we're only 2 backers away from 100 backers. I like nice even numbers. We're 13,238. The sad news is we only have 4 days left. And actually, I think afternoon will be 3 days. So we are running out of time. I'm going to play this fantastic video that was put together by Shanthan J.
Art T-Bear's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too is a 60-page, 9x12 hardbound book that will be printed on thick glossy stock paper and is a compilation of artwork from award-winning artist Art T-Bear. This book is filled with images that come from Art's Marvel, DC, Image, and Comicsgate work. That includes convention doodles, commissions, creator-owned IPs, and pop culture subjects that Art has brought to life with his masterful draftsmanship. Art T-Bear's signature style is both lyrical and meticulously realized. The mastery of craft, seen in his work, owes itself to his 40 years in the comic industry, as well as viewing life through his own love of the art form itself. Fans of art prints have the opportunity to back one or both of the mini print tiers. Both are stunning collections of work that you can back individually or together as a bundle. Art T-Bear's Oodles of Doodles and Other Stuff Too. Back it now on Indiegogo.
Do it now. Yes, only 4 days left. Like I said, in a couple hours, it'll be 3 days left. So this is a fantastic, gorgeous hardbound book. 60 pages at this point, but we have this 14K stretch goal, which we will add 4 new pages. So this is an example of some of the artwork that will be in those 4 pages. So we got that cable artwork. We got black and white with Vampirilla, the team up of the century. We got Julie Newmar as Catwoman Meow. And then we have the great Aaron Lopresti's Garbage Man, and possibly a couple other CG surprises in there. You guys said I have to put this T-Bear Kevin Nolan drawing in here. So that will go in those 4 pages as well. But you guys, we have to get to that 14K. So, we're running out of time. So, like I said, we got 4 days at this point, 3 days and a couple hours to get to that 14. So we need, a little under $800, and we'll get there. We'll get there, and then we'll be able to get you those 4 pages. But I have to stress, once we get to that end of the live campaign, I'm going to have to go to the printer. So I want to get this book printed quickly, and I want to get it to you quickly. So I don't want to waste any time. So as soon as that thing flips over 0 days and we go in demand, which we will go in demand. So I want to do that because there's a couple of you that have said you're saving money or you're waiting for your next check, things like that. And I understand, all that stuff. So it will go in demand so you can get the book a little later if you can't afford it right now. And if you can't afford it at all, don't worry about it. Just tweet this out. Just support me on YouTube. Just do that stuff. I understand this is a crazy economy and things are a little tough right now. And I do appreciate any help I can get on this. And I appreciate each and every one of you. But we still need that to get that stretch goal. And so we only have 4 days to get to this point. And I really want to make this thing happen for you guys and make this book even better. 60 pages is cool, but 64 pages is even better. I did have another stretch goal in mind. So if we can get to this 14K quicker, I'll throw that out there as well. So we'll see how things go. So we have some of the interior pages, which you saw in the video. We got Billy Tucci's She. We got some great prints. We got Del Keown's Pit. Thank you, Del, for letting me use your character. I appreciate that. The first appearance of Juju. She will be in Black and White Volume 3, Sins of the Father, which will come out this October. And this is commemorative, celebrating the 30 years of Black and White, you guys. Came out in 1994. So she will be the big bad in the upcoming storyline. We got set A. We got set B with the mini prints. And also, you guys, these books come signed and numbered, and all the prints come signed. So everything is personalized, and and ready for you to enjoy. So we have the head sketch tier, so you can get black or white or both of them together. We have different tiers, and this is commemorative. This is their celebrate the 30th anniversary, and this is their new power suits for the new storyline. So we got all kinds of cool stuff, all kinds of different tiers for you guys. So click that link there. It is in the description. Marcus has been dropping it into the chat, so it's probably easier for you to click Marcus, his link. Thank you, Marcus, for doing that. And click that, and let's get a couple more backers today to get us closer to that 14K so we can make all of that happen. I do appreciate you guys again, and yeah, we're 2 backers away from 100. This is crazy. This is so cool. So yeah, so oodles of doodles and other stuff too. And let's get back and bagging on Bob Iger and the new Disney. Oh, we got some new faces. I like that. All right, let's see. There it is right here. You guys click that sucker. Go over there. If you like what you see, back it. Let's see. I have a theory that Disney's big left ward shift under Iger was all because he really wanted to run for. Yes, he did. I agree with you 100%. I feel the same way. Like, in lieu of that, he is going to shape and rule with an iron thumb this Disney. I mean, this guy just wants to rule. You know what I mean? Like, he's just a power mad, crazy psychopath. So if he can't rule the world. The world kingdom, he's going to rule the magic kingdom, right? Yeah. Let's see. We got Pedro. The conflict between Uncle Remus and the mom is what made the movie hilarious to me. Don't fill my son's head with your N-word ideas. Given what was said, it was bad light on prejudice. Did she use the N-word in the movie? I didn't know she used the N-word. Are you exaggerating, or did she actually say that? So it was racially motivated. There's no nuance anymore. Let me know if she actually said the N-word, though, Pedro, because I need to know. Spike in Madness, Aunt Jemima's face and name was removed for her own syrup bottles. Yeah, and you know what? There was a tie-in with Aunt Jemima and Disney. So at the original Disneyland, there was an Aunt Jemima's Pancake House, and it was popular. And so they had an actress that would play Aunt Jemima, and you could get photo ops with Aunt Jemima and stuff like that. And it was popular. People loved it. So I don't think people were like, "Ooh, she's black. We can't do this," or anything. I don't think people are quite as racist as some people would like you to think. There's also Uncle Ben, which I don't think is on the label anymore. And remember Famous Amos, the chocolate chip cookie guy. I am still annoyed by the Aunt Jemima thing. She was positive. The image was a positive brand. I agree. Yeah, Uncle Ben was removed from the rice, and Ben was a real person and made millions. Yeah, it's crazy. Electric cars, the animated feature. Yeah, come on. Let's get progressive. Put your money where your mouth is, bitches. Progressivism is a luxury belief, Art. I agree. Xeno is on fire. Anti-entity. All while destroying a river, the river of America. Marcus Killigrew, his family has said he would be proud to be the face of the brand. They don't give a shit. They're also like, this is the thing about all this progressivism and SJW and all this stuff is people are getting offended based, on what they think other people should be offended by, right? So like a white housewife is getting offended because, you know, there's a black woman on her bottle, you know, of syrup. Like, that seems more racist than like, oh, well, we're gonna save the black people by taking her face off the bottle. It seems like they're really trying to legitimize racism. That's what it seems like to me. It seems like they're marketing and trying to sell their racism. So, you know, let's take a black person off of a bottle of syrup, which nobody had a problem with. Nobody did, except a few weirdos, but a few weirdos are always going to exist in the world. And so, boom, you know, a black icon gets erased from history. You know, the Song of the South, the Brer characters, boom, erased from history. I mean, the only reason people know who Mary Poppins is because Walt Disney bought the rights to the book. That book was the book. I've never even seen the book on the stands. Like when my daughter was young and we were looking for books to read to her, we scoured the bookstores. I never saw Mary Poppins on the stand there. So the only reason people know about Mary Poppins is because of Walt Disney, and the only reason people know about the Brer characters is because of Walt Disney. So what you're doing is you're destroying a legacy, not necessarily just Walt Disney's legacy, but the legacy of the source material, right? Because you're offended. So fine, just eradicate you know, erase all black people, you know, if you find them offensive. Like, this is crazy. And also the progressive side, the Democratic side, or the Democrats, they're also the ones that really were like, let's elevate the black people. Let's you know, let's get them some financial help, welfare, things like that, you know, all that stuff. And from what I understand, I heard Candace Owen talk about, like, before and after, like, black families were pretty much together before, you know, all this progressive nonsense that the government decided that they were going to take care of, you know, the black community. And then, you know, basically black women were marrying into the system. They weren't looking for a man. They weren't looking to try to build a home or a life together. They were just marrying into the system. And then the government, and I'm not just singling black people, it's a poor people thing, but I do believe that the government that came up with that also created a way to put them down. Because if you are beholden, your hunting gathering skills are like the system, right? To get welfare, to get food stamps, to do whatever, you know, child support, whatever these things are, these government issued things, then you become beholden to it. That's your hunting gathering skills. That's how you put food on the table. That's how you take care of your family, is through this. You don't do it through hard work. You don't get a job. You don't get an education so you can get a better job. You don't do those things. You just kind of learn the system, and then you learn it to the best of your ability, because the better at it you are, the more stuff you get from the government. And I'm talking firsthand. I have two sisters, and my one sister never worked a day in her life. She was a professional welfare person. She knew how to work the system. And when her child care or whatever that stuff was called was getting, like, they age out of it, then she'd have another baby, and then she'd get that money coming in, and all this stuff. Like, to the day she died, she never had a job. You know, she never contributed to the system. She never did. And all of her kids, except for, well, I shouldn't say it, they're having a hard time, because, you know, the skills that their mother passed on was the skills of welfare. So a lot of times you see second, third, fourth generation welfare, because that's basically the hunting gathering skills that they teach their kids. So then it becomes a cycle. Does this help the community? No. It enables them. It does the opposite. Just like all this other nonsense that they're doing, like, oh, well, they're going to help the Black community by, from what some of us think is destroying the Black community. Um, uh, I think the daughter of the one of these YouTube shows had the daughter of the actor that did the voice for Brer Bear or something like that. And she was saying like this is her father's legacy, and that she wants people to see Song of the South. She wants that. She wants her father's work to be seen. It's just a shame. Yeah, it was. Shanta's a good guy. It's about time you guys figured that out. I am a lyrical genius. We got Joe Bernardo now in the chat. We are ready for a party. Good morning, Joe. What's up? Yeah. All that stuff. Famous Amos just passed away in Hawaii. Are those cookies? Are they still making them? Because I thought it was cool because he was like the spokesman for the cookie company. Like he went out there, did the commercials and things. I thought that was pretty cool. The Dems have been resurrecting racism for decades now. Yeah. The Democrats see Black people as useless adults in need of salvation. Yeah, it's very condescending. I'm fairly convinced of it. I think they're really good at window dressing, at selling things, but they're very disingenuous, very dishonest in their approach, and I really don't think they're dealing with any real problems. I think what they're doing is they're creating more problems because they kind of like, well, we're the party that helps people, that gives back to people, things like that. Well, the thing is, I don't want anybody's handouts. I want a system that I can compete in. I want a system that's fair, that I can lift myself up by my own bootstraps and make something of me. I don't want anybody giving me anything. I never did. Joe Bernard says, no, Pedro, they see any people only as a vote for power. The left radicals really don't care. I think the new ones really don't care. I definitely think what they've done is they've married into this globalist society. So I don't think they're America first. I don't think they give a shit about America and America's culture. I think they're over here, like they're in with all these globalists. So America's needs, America's people, they really don't care. I think it's very, very apparent to if you listen to the way they talk, things like that, the people don't really matter. I'm not saying that the right are that much better. They've done some screwy shit in the past too, but I do think that Donald Trump right now is making the right moves. I think hanging out with Tulsi Gabbard and Robert Kennedy Jr. and Elon Musk and these things. I think it's like he's creating a super team, and I like all those guys. I don't know that much about Robert Kennedy, and I know that Elon Musk has been screwy in the past, and but I do know that he says that he's more conservative now, and he's definitely voting Republican and all that other stuff. So just like Russell Brand, he could be a guy that's kind of from the inside, saw it and didn't like any of it anymore, and is changing his tune. which is all, it's all good, you know. I just want to know where, because, you know, the battery powered thing, you know, Elon says that they're not mining those third world countries and having, you know, child labor and all that kind of stuff, you know, to mine for the minerals. He says he's not doing that, but who knows, you know. Let's see, Shadowhawk, good morning. Hail, Artie Bear, and chat. Us, mega manga us. Oh gosh, excuse me. We got Von Coleman. Oh God, we're talking about globalists again. Hell yeah. I don't know if you know it, but we're just about to voting time. I don't know if, like, the people, I know that the ruling class Democrats are Democrats, Democrats, and they are evil. Like the people, some of the people that follow them, I think they're not, they just want to feel good, and I think this party makes them feel good. So when they talk about hope and change and all these other cryptic things, people are just like, oh yeah, that sounds good. I like hope, you know. Change, I guess, is good, you know. It's weird because there's a conceit on the left that I find hilarious, because the left always say things are broken, it's not good, we need to change it, we need to fix it, all this stuff. And I guess, you know, there are some things that need to be fixed and there are things that are broken, but everything is so much that it's ridiculous. Like everything is on the chopping block, everything needs to be fixed, everything's broken, right? It's ridiculous. And then the other side is like, let's conserve the things that are working, you know. Let's stop tearing everything down, and let's conserve what's working, you know. Let's cherish it. Everything in America isn't bad, you know. There's a lot of good that's here, you know. So they want to conserve it, they want to, you know, keep it going, they want to support it. The other side is just like everything's bad, everything's wrong, everything's screwed up, you know. And I'm just like, is that, do you want to be on that side? Like everything's bad, everything's screwed up. The only reason I talk about everything's bad and everything's screwed up is because those are the people that are screwing everything up, you know. It's like, just leave shit alone for a while. You know, let the free market be the free market, you know. Let things be what they are. Von Coleman, your generation needs to take a real look at what the government is trying to do. You're growing up in a world where your rights are being compromised. Listen to Joe. He knows, Vaughn. Listen up. You can learn something, you young whippersnapper. John says, ignorance and willful blindness often lead to evil deeds. Art, evil is evil. Yes. Yes, indeedy do. Camel toe hairless stinks. Here she's calling Donald Trump a chicken for the debates because, you know, he won't agree to her terms. It's like, wow. You know, like these people, every day is opposite day. Like if you ever want to know what the truth is, just go with the opposite of what they say. She's calling him a chicken when she's the one that's scared to death, because she knows he will destroy her. Because you know how, like, the left had figured out, like, oh, you know how you can put the right in their place? Call them names. Istanphobe, you're a racist, you're a homophobe, you're whatever, right? And so then, oh, it's hard to argue with it, right? Shut up, you know, conservative. Well, now Donald Trump has the race card. He has the perfect comeback to everything that comes out of her mouth. Is She had 4 years to fix everything. So if she goes up and says, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to fix this, this is broken. It's like all he has to say is, you had 4 years. What did you do? And then just throw her statistics right back at her, and put her on the defensive, and she's scared to death because that's all he has to do. All he has to do is constantly remind her that she's the vice president of America and that she also covered for a debilitated president. It was a conspiracy. She conspired. She hid the fact that the president was incapacitated, and she knew it, and he still is, and they're still going along with it. So this is all fraud. This is conspiracy. This is almost like traitor territory. Like, she's in bad shape, and all he has to do is remind everybody in these debates, because just like we found out with the debates how important these things are, they were going to go forward with Joe Biden, but they couldn't after the debates because they realized the world was watching. People don't tune in for a lot of the minutia, the day-to-day stuff, but they do for these debates. So they couldn't hide it. The Democrats couldn't hide Joe Biden anymore. So then they had to go to plan B, which was Kamala Harris. And they didn't have time to rebrand everybody. And also, if they didn't go with Kamala Harris, they had to give back all that money that they had gathered. It was the Biden-Harris campaign. So, if she continues with the campaign, then they don't have to give the money back, to the investors, to the backers. And so they did. Really, the only thing that they could do is to put Harris out there. But if they're so stupid that they're going to have her talk about she's going to do this, she's going to do that, she's going to, fix the border, she's going to fix the economy, she's going to do whatever. You're the one that broke it. You broke it, bitch. You and your administration broke it. So the last 4 years has been atrocious. You took over from Donald Trump. There were no wars. There was no economic downturn. There was none of this craziness. You and your administration, you did this. So you have to own it. When you say you're going to fix it, all you have to say is, why is it broken? Why didn't you already fix it? You knew these problems. These problems have existed for years. Why didn't you do something about it? You're the one that created them. It's weird because I don't hear many people say this, but I think it's a left business model, and I do mean business model, is what they do is they kind of tear things down, they break it, and then they say it needs to be fixed, and we'll fix it for you, right? So insurance was one, all right? Insurance isn't working, blah, 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 blah. Well, they were breaking the insurance. They were regulating it. They were making it hard for insurance to work. So the free market couldn't be the free market. The government came in and broke it. Banks, house lending, they're trying to do currency now. Power, they're breaking the grid with all this green power. The reason why we have blackouts, things like that in the States, is because money is going into being reinvested in green energy, which does not work. So they're neglecting the grid that does work. So money isn't going there, it's going into this other place. So they're trying to do both, but they can't. And that's because of government regulation. So government will tear down the traditional power system that worked. They're saying battery power at the same time that electric, is going up. It's going through the roof. They're basically destroying insurance right now. I just heard the scam on property tax. Like what they're doing is they're committing fraud, where in the United States, not just here, because I noticed since we bought this house in Texas, it has accumulated. Like every year, it's gone up almost like 100K. The value of this house has been estimated 100K more. We've been here 4 years. It's almost doubled what we originally bought the house for, right? At first I was like, wow, this is great. But then I was like, this is not right. These prices should not be escalating this way. And then I looked at the house that we sold in California, the same thing. It was going up incrementally about the same as the Texas house. And so then I found out that what they're doing is these appraisers, they're putting pressure on the appraisers to appraise these houses at more than market value. So because property tax is based on the value of the house at that moment, not on the value of the house when you paid for it, which it should be. It's on the value of whatever it's appraised at this moment in time. So for this year, it's appraised more than it was last year, so you pay more property taxes. And so the city, which schools, all these things, they get to generate more money. Most of these cities are in debt up the ass anyway, right? So they're trying to generate more money to get themselves out of the problem that they were in. But they're committing fraud. This is taxation fraud that they're committing. And it is highly against the law. But they're doing it anyway because they're desperate. So I'm telling you right now, the government is probably more corrupt than it's been in decades. Let me get Flatty. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. You are awesome. Would you mind listening to some of the other titles and characters you've worked on over the years? Want to drive in your published art story? Would you mind listing some of the other titles and characters you've worked on over the years? I want to dive into your published art history. You mean for a live stream, or are you like a YouTuber and you want to? I'm not sure. Flatty, if you could, you don't have to super chat me. I do appreciate it, but just either DM me or clarify in the chat here, and I'll be able to give you a better answer. Joe Bernard says Kamala wants notes on her debate because she can't talk without notes. Debates are to talk without notes so the public gets to see how a candidate handles a political negotiations with other countries. Yeah, you want to see how diplomatic they are, how they handle questions under fire. And the reason she wants the notes is she wants all the questions before. She wants to know all the questions so she can have the answers. So the notes isn't overly simplified. I want notes. Well, the reason you want notes is because you want the questions. Why else would you have notes, right? The notes are to help you answer the questions. So it's all bullshit. But Donald Trump's the chicken. Art is getting ready for unrealized gains tax. You can fight it in Texas. You can get a lawyer, and we do every year. But I think what I'm going to do is when I talk to the lawyer this year to negotiate taxes, I'm going to bring that stuff up to him. And there is some documentation, and there are petitions and stuff nationwide that are fighting this appraisal tax, and trying to get some kind of stability. Because the thing is, I'm not on a fixed income yet, but if you're on a fixed income and your property tax goes up the way it's going up, you could go belly up, because it's expensive. It's really expensive. Let's see. We sold our condo, and next year it appraised for 140. Wow, more. The appraisal industry is a scam. Well, what I heard is like these appraisers don't make much money. So they could appraise a property, for, let's say, a realtor or, like, a home seller. And if the realtor, and I guess maybe even the home seller, doesn't like the numbers that they bring in, they won't use them. And so they'll search until they can find somebody that's on the take that will give them the numbers they want, so that they can sell the house at a higher value. And the thing is, if the state is in on it, and the the local governments, the schools, all this other stuff are in on it, then nobody's going to call anybody on it, because they all benefit from it. So it's a win-win for them, but the taxpayers are getting reamed. And the thing is, they're doing it because they're desperate. They're desperate, but they've mismanaged funds to such a degree that now, I mean, they probably already done criminal stuff in the past, but these are like mafia tactics. You know what I mean? Like, they're getting to these appraisers, and they could also be offering them money. Like, if you come in high, I'll give you a bonus or some kind of thing like that, which is all, because that's bribery money. It's all illegal, but they're doing it. Kamala wants socialism and slept her way to the top. If we become independent on energy, it trickles down to every part of the economy: gas, power, food, distribution, etc. And there is some technology that will allow it to happen. But I don't really think they want it to happen. I think they want to break the system so they can recreate the system, or that they can control the system. So I think they're trying to break the power structure with green energy. I think it's all a scam. So they put pressure on these power companies to diversify, because it feels good. We're saving the planet. So they diversify. But what they're doing is they're weakening the power grids because of the diversification, because solar doesn't bring in enough, wind, all these things. I heard like it's barely like percentage points of the power that is brought into the country, these green things. So they really don't do anything. What they do is they break the system. So instead of the power companies having all this money to build their infrastructure that works, and rebuild it and keep it functioning properly, they have to put money into these jokes. And it's stupid. Oh my gosh, bless your little auntie heart. Thank you so much, Auntie Entity. Just backed oodles. Well, in that case, let's celebrate. Let's do some screen sharing here. Let's see what we got here. Let's share some oodles of doodles and other stuff too. We are at 98 backers, 238. The 238. Yeah, all right. 99 backers. Thank you so much. So we are one backer away from 100 backers. And what is that? Let's just round it up to 4. So like $600 away from 14K. So we got 4 days left to get there. So $400 in 4 days. So if we could generate $100 a day, we can get there. Awesome. That is so cool. So if you guys have not backed oodles of doodles and other stuff too, take a note from Auntie Entity and back oodles today, you guys. It is a great book. And like I said, we are racing towards this 14K stretch goal. So At 14K, which were, what did I say, 600, little over $600 away. Did I say 400 or 600? Let me go back. I think it's 600. Yeah, we're 600 away, so it's more than $100 a week, a day. But yeah, so we got $600 to get to this 14K stretch goal, which will be adding 4 new pages to the book, taking it from 60 to 64 pages. So that is badassery. I want to do this so bad, but once we're out of the live phase of the campaign and go into in demand, I am going to have to drop the stretch goal because I'm going to start putting the book together, and so I can get this to the printers. So one thing about this book too is there is going to be very little downtime for as far as waiting. The book is pretty much done. I just have to add all the new pages and all the new artwork to this version of the book, and then get those files off to the printer. So everything's set up. Everything looks good. All we need is the stretch goals met. And if the stretch goals are met, you guys, I can start putting the book together even quicker to get it to the printer. So yeah, there's 4 days, you guys. We are looking at 600 to get to that point, and I think it's starting to look doable. Yesterday it was a little rough. I got to tell you, it was a little rough, but we rallied in the evening. We got a lot of backers, and today looks good too. So thanks to everybody that's back. Thanks to everybody that has supported this campaign. I do appreciate it. So thanks, entity. I just want to scope out your older works. Yeah, I'll put some stuff together for next live stream. I'm sure if you typed in, let me see, comics Archie Bear has worked on. Let's see. Oh, no. Let's see. Oh, list. Okay, let's hit that. Selected works, more items. So let's see. Selected works, Adventures of Superman, 89 to 91, X Factor, 91 to 97, Superman, The Wedding Album, 96, X-Men Volume 2, 92 to 96, 96 to 98. So what is that? That's like 6 years. Wow. Fantastic Four, 98 to 2000. Bishop, Last X-Man, 99 to 2000. Ultimate X-Men, 2000 to 2004. Wow, I worked on that for 4 years. Ultimate X-Men, 2001 to 2004. Chrono Mechanics, 2004, and then 2006. Outsiders for DC Comics, 2005 to 2007. The Flash, Fastest Man Alive, 2007. Trinity, 2008. And there's a bunch of others, so it doesn't get into my image years, my independent publishing years. It doesn't say Cable. So I worked on Cable, Pencils and Inks. Yeah, so if you go to my Wikipedia, it's got some of that stuff in there, but it's not a complete list of everything I've ever done. So I can try to put that together and maybe have a talk about it. So here's my Wikipedia. Not saying that it's 100% accurate, but it's in. I'm putting it in the chat now. It's taking forever. So I can do that. and then maybe do a kind of talk about each one of the ventures. Yeah, I'll do a list of work for a for YouTube. Yeah, that'll be fun. I'll do that, Flotty. All right, Torchbearer Studios. According to Kamala, 2/3, 220 million people of the country died from COVID in recent months. I feel bad for those who are so deranged to support her and her party. They'll have everybody enslaved. They are the party of slavery. They're just going to do it in a different way. Modern day slavery. The doctor said it couldn't be fixed ever. What is wealth? WEF globalist stuff is that? F globalist stuff. Wealth. Welfare. I don't know. Local governments are hurting financially. We got accused of not paying our local taxes, went to court, proved we had overpaid our local taxes, found guilty anyways. Oh, shit. Oh, I hate shit. I've been to court. I thought I had the truth on my side and got overridden before. You lose all faith in humanity. Yeah, all faith in humanity you lose. The electric car batteries also don't work in the cold. I worked for a company that was draws the plans for charging stations, and it's super slowed down because the battery sustainability. It's bullshit. Like, the batteries don't break down. They're an environmental hazard. Mining these things is an environmental hazard. Like the oil drilling, all that stuff is relatively to this in this modern day is relatively environmentally like the impact on it is very little. But what they're doing, like you look at some of these, was it cobalt? I don't know what they're mining for these batteries, but one, they're using slave labor to do it. Painting, you see kids, like barefoot kids in rags, going into some of these tunnels and just hitting stuff with a rock, or they give them some kind of like little tool to start digging this stuff out, and then these adults, have those kids like haul out the stuff. It is absolutely horrible what they're doing to get this stuff, and I just don't think it's, they say oil isn't sustainable, whatever. I don't think this electric is stable, and also you're a complete slave to electric prices. What was it? It was someplace in California that they lost funds because of what was it? It's something to do. Wait a minute. Check your internet. I'll just click that off. I just got like a notice. And so somehow they weren't getting funds from, because I think they asked people to use less electricity to conserve so they wouldn't get blackouts. People did. And then what these companies, the electric companies, did is say, we lost money for the last year that you guys weren't using electricity, so we're gonna up your bill so we can get that money back. What we did it, the same thing happened to us when we lived in California, when we lived in Corona. They were saying everybody needs to conserve water, we're in a drought, blah blah blah. So everybody did, right? So as soon as the drought was over, you know what they did? They upped everybody's water so that they could make those profits back. There's nothing corrupt about these agencies. Let me see. I searched your older work online and only got pictures of your feet on OnlyFans. My sexy feet. My sexy feet. Flighty says, thanks, man. I'll start digging in the local comic shops. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll dig and see if I can come up with some kind of comprehensive list, and then I can go down the list and maybe give like some stories of what it was like to work on those titles. It'll probably take forever to get through the list because the way I talk, I'll talk forever. Oh, World Economic Forum. Yeah, F those guys. F those weefs. Yeah, the mines. I don't know about that mine specifically, but they don't care. Oh, lithium. Lithium is going to create a bunch of environmental problems in the near future. They are practically grenades. Yes, yes, they are. Marcus says, I can't criticize electric cars. My son works as an engineer for Tesla. Well, the thing is, I don't care. Where I care is when the government gets involved and says you have to have this, or we're phasing, combustion engines and gasoline and oil out. You haven't created a system that actually works yet to replace that. There's still a lot of problems with these batteries. And as soon as you start dictating terms to people is where I have a problem with. If you want to create electric power and you want to try to compete with these gasoline power and you can create a better product, consumers will embrace it. If you can create a product better than what's already in existence and you can come in at a better price, there's no reason people would not use it. But when you start having government mandates and saying you have to, then also, as if everything's electric and it's mandated, then why would these car companies even work on making better cars? If it was mandated and you had to, then they'll give you whatever crap they want to give you. The free market, if the free market goes, everything's going to crumble. I also heard on some show, I don't know how true this is, but they said 70% of America's, is it DDP or whatever the profits, or the market is consumerism. 70%. So basically, in this weird incestuous way, we're just kind of keeping our own economy going. So we don't really make money any other way. We just make money by selling ourselves shit. That's how we make money. That's crazy. So 30% from this whatever the show I watched was saying is actually making product, selling, outside the country, things like that, which is what we should be doing. But yeah, I mean, we're kind of doomed if all we're doing is, selling product to ourselves. Yeah, I don't have a problem with electric, like I said. I just have a problem when people are mandating it or guilt trip you into having it. It's like some of these vegans, like in California, there were signs, billboards that said, every time you enjoy your cheeseburger or your steak, your grilled steak, your barbecue, you're killing an animal, kind of thing. Oh, excuse me. And then they show like a slaughtered, animal on the billboard. It's like, if you want to be a vegan, fine, be a vegan. But why do you care so much that I'm not? Like, just stay in your own lane. I'm not telling you that you need to eat beef. I'm not making you feel bad because you don't. Like, do what you want to do. I don't give a shit. If you want to drive an electric car and you think they're cool, buy an electric car. If you want to buy a gasoline powered car, fine. If you want to buy a hybrid, it's all good. I don't really care. If the product works or it doesn't work, I don't care. Like if the electric car has a bunch of problems with it, I don't care because I'll never buy one. But if they force me and there's no choice anymore, then my freedom has been taken away from me, and then I'm going to have to get an electric car if I want to keep my lifestyle. And then I'll have to accept whatever the bullshit car that they make, for me. And as soon as we get there, freedom choice is gone. The stuff's dictated to us, and then whatever we get, we're going to have to be happy with it, because there's not going to be the freedom to compete. There's going to be nobody coming up and creating anything else because the government won't allow it. Yeah, Charles Schwab is the cheap Bond villain. I can't believe that nobody sees it. Like it is so like comic book. You know what I mean? It's so weird. Yes, gas, nuclear, coal, all those things, way better than and more efficient than anything else. 0 point energy is the way forward, but nuclear power will help till we get there. The green energy crap is a scam to retard the research into new discoveries and lower the world's population. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a scam that I think they want to control things. I don't think the governments of the world are doing any of this stuff from the kindness of their heart. I think all this green stuff and global warming and all this is just designed to break the system so that these powerful elites can rebuild it. If you look at it, the pattern is through everything, farming, our power, our modes of transportation, our banking, our insurance, our healthcare, everything is fundamentally being broken so that they can rebuild it. Disney, back onto what we were talking about at the beginning of the stream, it's all the same. It's all the same. That's the common thread through everything. Government or business breaks it, and then we're all like, what's going on? Why is Disney doing this? Or what's happening? And then what they do is they say, well, we'll fix it, but you're the fuckers that broke it. You know what I mean? Bob Iger's the one that broke Disney. He's the one that's going to fix it. Kamala Harris and I can't, Joe Biden are the ones that broke the system. And now she's saying that she's going to be able to fix it. Well, bitch, you had 4 years. Not only did you not maintain the good, commerce we had, but you broke it. You doubled it. Like everything is twice the cost than it was before you guys took office. How do you explain that? You guys keep blaming Donald Trump. How do you blame somebody after 4 years? At some point, you have to accept the responsibility for your own actions. You can't keep blaming somebody. And if you want to blame him, it's so retarded. I can't even go into the logic because it's so dumb. Thanks. I think it's a good idea for newer fans of comics to check out a person's previous work while waiting for their new work to become available. Watch the artist grow over the years. Yeah, for sure. And thank you, Marcus. You are earning your golden wrench. The reason for the season, Oodles of Doodles, and other stuff too. If we could get one more backer, we'll be at 100. So that's cool. Let me see what this is. It's all caps. If it's good and cheaper, prove it. You don't need to enforce it. That's how you know it's a lie. Yes, When you have to mandatory and force somebody to buy something or do something, then you know that it's not, well, one, there's no freedom. It's not voluntary. They have to do it. So the reason the free market works, capitalism works, is because you vote with your dollar. So if this widget, you have two widgets, and this widget is more money and not made as well, or it's more money and made better than this widget, but this widget's cheaper, then you can make a decision, right? So if you're about value and saving some money, then you buy the lower one. And then, you know, the one that's more expensive, if people either can't afford it or it's not as good, then people won't buy it. They'll buy the other one, and then that one that's more expensive or it doesn't work as well or whatever, they're going to have to rethink it. And if they want to stay in business, they want to stay competitive, they're going to have to rethink it. And it's that simple. And that's why the consumer, that's why the dollar is king, because every time you buy something, you are voting with your dollar, what you want versus what you don't want, right? But if you start messing with that shit, then guess what? You're going to get whatever the government wants you to have. And you're going to like it and you're going to be happy because you're not going to know anything other. You're not going to know how cool freedom of choice was. Auntie says, give me a car from the 80s or older. They were a blast. Yes. I got an early 2000s car, and it's a blast. Almost 100% consumer-based economy. Yeah, that's pretty scary, man, when you think 70%. If that is true, I don't really know. Yes, Past Master, hit that like. If you like what you see, smack it. Of course, you kill consumerism, you crash every other industry there is, and the people in consumer goods don't even get it. They become extinct by what they push. You guys get it? You guys understand? Vegans have no idea how many animals die in growing fields when it's harvest time. It's a lot. Oh yeah, not like big cows or anything, but yeah, just little animals that live there. Timmy Mello says everyone has to join in the hive mind gimmick of the moment. Milgram's experience showed us along about the social pressure. Yeah, well, look at COVID. Holy shit, man. Hate to tell the nutbags, but the ocean is cooling and the scientists can't explain it. The nutbags. I like that. I'll brain fart more than that. That's my thing, brain farting. $7 now for a box of cereal? Holy shit balls. Eggs are going up again. I don't know if I could live without eggs. Yeah. Timmy gets it. Kamala campaigning on fixing the border crisis while she is currently in office still slays me. It's political extortion at this point. I think people are starting to wake up. All right, I'm down. Oh man, John Davies, how you doing, my Hack Shack brethren? I added lettuce to my hamburger. Am I now a vegan? You're kind of shoehorned in to veganism. I only eat vegan cows. I think that should count. I think you just scored some points, Past Master. John Davis, how about that art book by Art? Who doesn't own one needs one now? Yes, I want it all. and I want it now. Yeah, we're one backer, you guys, one backer away from an even number, which is 100 backers. So thank you, Past Master. Click this link. Go check it out. Let's see. Art's going to have a clutch of hens. Actually, we have two neighbors, a neighbor over here and a neighbor on the other block, and they have chickens, and they've offered to, well, one does brings over eggs and stuff, so it's pretty cool. Pasteurized eggs, even more money. I think my wife does too. She doesn't like the raw eggs from the I think she doesn't trust them. Oh yeah, right back at you, John. Right back at you. Cows are vegan. Past Master says, "Hail John Davies." John used to come on and do some of these live streams when Hack Shack was still going on. We had a show. I wish we could do it again, but once again, the man is effed up everything. We had a show called Versus. So we would take like two movie trailers, like movies that would come out at the same time, and they were kind of more like, you know, pop culture kind of comic book stuff, and we would do verses. So it was John, Taylor Grosso, and myself, and we do these live streams, and then we would play the trailer when you could play the trailer and not get dinged. So we play the trailer, then we talk about it, and we play the other trailer and we talk about it, and then between the three of us, we would vote. Like, what do we think is the best trailer? Which movie are we looking forward to the most? And then we'd have everybody in the chat chime in as well. So we were doing like market research for these movies. And it was a lot of fun, but we can't do them anymore because YouTube will shut you down if you play these trailers. Yeah, we got some good neighbors here in Texas. Yeah, okay, you guys. Well, I do appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out. Thank you so much. I think it was Flatty that sent the super chat. I hope I got that right, or was it Anti-Entity? I don't remember. You know what? Now I feel bad. I gotta see if I can find it. Yeah, it was Flatty1. Thank you for the super chat, and it's always good hanging out with you guys. You're going to see me a lot because I'm going to be obnoxious until we finish this live campaign of Oodles of Doodles and other stuff too. So I'm going to be, you know, just reminding you, get out there. I know things are tight right now, but it's a beautiful book, and I'm really proud of it because I feel like after 40 years, it feels like an organic thing to do, to like have a representation of my work, you know, in one book, and also just to be done so beautifully. I mean, it's a beautiful, gorgeous book, and just very, very proud of it, and proud that you guys have backed it, supported it, and don't forget, there's plenty of room for more. So we're going to have more than enough books to do this campaign and fulfill this campaign. And just remember too, in 4 days, that stretch goal is going down. So if you want 4 extra pages in the book, then we got to get that 14K before we close the campaign down, and then I can put that together and get that off to the printer. And you guys should get the book before Christmas. You know, that's the plan, Stan. So thank you. Always enjoy hanging out with you guys. You guys are a blast. I got to get to work, get some stuff done, get some food, get some lunch in me. And you guys have a fantastic day. Oh, and the Bros tonight, I believe it's on Andy Smith's channel. Next week is my channel. And if you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. And what are we going to talk about? I forget. Like, Andy's always got some great topics to talk about. But I believe it's 6 o'clock East. Wait, no, it's 6 o'clock my time. Wait a minute. Before I misspeak, I believe it's 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I believe. Sometimes it changes. Sometimes it's a little later. Sometimes it's a little earlier. So check. I'm sure Andy will post something, and then I'll repost it. So yeah, just stay tuned. Hang out with the bros tonight. If you guys don't know, the bros are myself, Billy Tucci, Dan Frega, Andy Smith, Graham Nolan. Who else? Am I missing one? Am I missing one? Oh, Aaron Lepresti. How could I forget Aaron Lepresti? He's #1 in my book. All right, man. Hit that button. See you guys. Take care.